Hunter's Dream, Chapter 5. Collie traveled on for many days and many nights. He went over the hills and down into the valley. He traveled into the dark forest and open field. He traveled to places where the wind never blew. Collie traveled to the places where the days were last forever. He traveled to places where singing was never heard and dancing was never seen. He traveled for long time. He looked everywhere, but he never again found the river of hope, or the huge black serpent, or the place of his dream. In the very last place of all, the place where the sun never smiled down for the sky, Collie stopped. He waited for 3 days because he did not know what to do next. Should he go on? Should he give up? Should he go back to his wife? Would she take him back? Dream never come true, never. Not here, not anywhere. Perhaps Collie's wife was right. But Collie did not think so. After all, he had found the river of hope. Perhaps he had ever found the place of his dream, although he had not known it. Night found him still waiting. It was cold and windy, colder and windier than he had ever known before. The wind chased through the grass. It carried the sharp smell of wild dogs hiding nearby. It swept up the dry leaves and drove them through the air. The moon came up from behind the hills, hard and slavery. In its light, Collie saw zebra hiding among the bushes. He saw deer and gazelle and 100 other animals. Collie wished that he could be like them. No homes, no wives, no dreams to think about. In the middle of night, the wind dropped. Collie fell into a sleep deep, and he dreamed of serpents, huge and black. He dreamed of drought and hunger, and saw the bodies of the birds and animals that had died. He dreamed of anger and hurt. He came face to face with pain. There were a great storm in the air. Sun fought with the moon, and there were wars in the sky. As Collie watched the sun clashed against the shriveled moon, the moon broke into 1,000 tiny parts, and they fell like feathers. Then all the stars cried out, and there was sadness that had never been known before. Collie had many dreams that night, but this was the worst of all. Collie did not know when morning came, in that place where the sun never smiled. When he opened his eye and looked up, there was no moon in the sky. But when he looked up again, saw small silvery light far and far away. He knew at once that his dream had come true. The moon had been broken. Collie picked up his spear and his arrow and ran to silvery light, to the places where moon might have fallen. He traveled for many hours, but when Collie came to the silvery light, he was afraid. He stood and watched it, not touching or even going near to it, for silvery light was not the moon at all. It was a huge round thing, much larger than the largest egg. It lay in the nest of sticks and leaves, high up in an old bent tree. Collie could just see it from where he stood. He could even feel its warmth on his face. "A moon egg," Cody said softly. "A moon egg, how beautiful it is." The nest in which the moon egg lays was the nest of Weather Bird. There were thousands of those nests in the old bent tree. Nest after nest after nest. Cody thought that there was a whole city of the nest in that tree. But although there were so many nests, and he could not see any weaver bird, he could not hear them either. Where were they? Had they filled their nest? Were they all asleep? Cody put his spear and his arrow against the foot of the tree and began to climb. It was hard, but he went on higher and higher. Somehow, he knew that he had to get to the moon egg before anything else did. At last, he came close to moon egg and put out his hand out to touch it. It was soft and smooth. As he touched it, he felt a warmth pass through his anger and along his arm, into his clothed body, and even down to his toes. He was fired with its warmth. "This is the most beautiful thing I have ever seen," he said to himself. "What would my wife have to say about this?" Saying this, he lifted up the moon egg and put it into his bag. Then he climbed down the tree. He picked up his spear and his arrows and turned away. Then suddenly the tree came alive, and not just the old bent tree, but every other trees for miles around. Weatherbirds screamed out of their nest and took the air, calling out loudly. They chased after Cody. He saw them coming and started to run. Faster and faster he ran, but it was no good. He could not get away. 1,000 weaverbirds were chasing him, and then 1,000 more. Cody ran as he had never run before.